Welcome to Real People, Real Life.
So, Mark, the last time we had you on here, earlier this year, we got so much feedback, comments about your stories. So I thought we'd do something today and tell your stories.
Story time with Monster.
Yeah. So you're one of the best storytellers I've ever known. And on top of that, your stories are unbelievable. By the very nature of the word, unbelievable, what the things that happened to you. So I'm going to hand it over to you. And let's start story time.
All right, boys and girls, get comfortable, get a bowl of popcorn. We're going to do a little story time with Monster. Now, like I said last time, my superpower is that I'm lucky. My opposite superpower is I'm very clueless. Like I could be standing next to one of the most famous people on the planet and not know who that person is. I'm sorry. I'm from a different era, okay? I'll start with a good story. Every year I go to Germany or Europe, and I go on vacation. And I take a traveling partner with me, my good friend over 30 years, Eddie, which you know.
Yes.
We went to Berlin, Germany, and we were going to a water park. Now, this water park is the largest indoor water park in the world. In fact, you can see it from space. I can't even emphasize how big this building is. If anybody knows anything about Moffett Field in California, it's like an old style Hindenburg blimp hangar.
Right.
But on a scale where you could put like 300 Costco's in it. Put it this way, there's a hot air balloon ride inside.
Yeah, I saw pictures.
Okay?
Unbelievable.
Indoor hot air balloon. So I was going there, and that was going to be our thing. So we're going to go there for the whole day. So we went to a gas station in Germany with our rental car. We had an Audi. And everything in the car is in the metric system. So if you want to set your temperature to your car, you got to figure out what Celsius, which is 23.5 degrees if you ever get in a car. Problem is the GPS, everything on the dashboard is all in German. Now you don't got miles per hour, you got kilometers. We're on the Autobahn, and you look for that little symbol with the little line through it, and it means you just punch it and you go. So we tried to change it from German English, and we made it worse. I don't know what we did, but the dashboard turned into, there's so much little
Clutter.
It was cluttered. So we pull in this gas station because we're going to go from Berlin to this water park, which is Tropical Island Water Park in Berlin, Germany. You Google it. There's a whole bunch of YouTube videos. It's just insane. There's sand in there. There's a beach. There's hotels. There's waterfalls.
And this is an indoor park.
Is like, you know how you go.
It's 20 degrees outside.
You know how you take your family to Turks and Caicos and you go to a private resort and you spend a week there on the beach? Just imagine that with a dome. It's that big.
Amazing.
Okay. Stop at the gas station. Now, everybody's been really nice to us in Europe. At the train station, let's be honest, you're an American in Europe. You're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in translation. Everybody was so helpful with us. No, you need to go on this train. No, you need to go here. And I told Eddie, I said, once we get back to America, if I see a foreigner in my country lost, I'm going to go out of my way to help him because they went out of their way to help us. So I said, listen, we're going to pull into this gas station. We got to gas up anyway because we got an hour drive to this water park. And we had a diesel sport utility Audi. It was really nice. You wouldn't even know it was a diesel. And I said, we're going to sit there. Everybody in Germany drives a BMW or an Audi. FYI, in Europe, when you get gas, it's on the honor system. Pump your gas, then you go inside and pay. I don't think that would work out too good in America.
No.
They say it's all face recognition. The guy told me you'd make about 6 minutes down the road before they'd arrest you. So I'm sitting there. I look over. There's an Audi. Murdered out, black on black, S4. Beautiful. I go, Ed, I'll be right back. I'm going to go ask this guy if he could come over and he's German, if he could go into the settings in German and find out where it says English and hit the button and go from Celsius to Fahrenheit. We're set. As I walk over, I look and he's looking down at his car. He's got a flat tire. And I go, hey, do you need help with that? And he turns around. Let's just say this is a very, very interesting gentleman. face tattoos. A guy you would probably cross the street if you saw him coming at you. Well, I love people like that because I think they're fascinating. If you got a face tattoo, that's some motsy. Either you got so much confidence or you don't give a darn about anything. I got to talk to you. And I says, you need help with that. And he looked at me and you can, and I'm going to do a bad German accent here, but you can fix that.
That's your Russian accent.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. I'm not good at it. And I go, yeah, how do you know how to fix that? And I'm like, well, how do you not know how to fix that? Listen, I know how to use my hands and I know how to fix things. I have a coffee mug in my office that says, if Monster can't fix it, we're all screwed. I says, well, listen, here's the deal. You see that guy over there? You go over to my car and you change my stuff from German to English. You give me a sugar-free Red Bull and I'll change your tire. And he goes, all right. So Ed, and here comes this guy. Let's just say Eddie is not as open to very interesting people.
This guy's a scary looking guy.
Yeah, and you could put a link in to this guy. You'll understand. His name is Sven.
Yeah, we'll put the link in on the.
So I had a BMW at one time, and the jack points of an Audi and BMW, they're all German. They're all the same thing. So he had one of them little, what do you call the tire? Little donut tire.
Donut, yeah. The
I fixed
spare
his car,
tire.
and I tell him it took me 20 minutes. I'm pretty good at it. I did it a lot. When I go to the racetrack, I change my tires on my car. He gets done. He comes over. He's like, oh, cool. I go, listen, now you can't go too fast on that little donut tire. You only got like 50 miles, but some people drive them forever. He's like, this is going to save me. I got a meeting. He reaches in his pocket. Me and Eddie are standing there. Hands me his card. Come to my nightclub tonight. I go, listen, we're not really a nightclub guy. We're going to the water park. You ever been to this water park?
You're all excited about the water park. He wants to take you to the nightclub.
I'm standing in front of the doorman for, now I wrote it down, the Berghain. Berghain.
In Berlin.
In Berlin. It's spelled Berghain.
We'll put a link on that.
It's the hardest nightclub on planet Earth to get into. Didn't know that. Didn't know it existed. Didn't know there was the hardest nightclub on the planet.
Isn't there YouTube channels telling people how they can potentially
have websites dedicated where you pay money and the guy will pretend to be Sven, because Sven is very ominous looking. He either says 9 or he opens the door and he lets you in. Okay? Elon Musk was turned away from this nightclub. Conan O'Brien shot a bit for his show, didn't make it to the door, was kicked out in the parking lot before he even made it to the door.
And Mark's there not having any clue who this guy is.
Or this nightclub exists.
And more excited about going to the water park.
It's more of a darky, gothy, not S&M, kinky. It's interesting.
Okay. Well, people can look it up
online. And I go, look, we're going to the water park. Because I want to know about this water park because I've been watching YouTube videos for 6 months about this water park and I want to go on the balloon ride. And it's just an indoor water park. And the guy's like, no. Trust me. Come to my club. I go, all right, but we're going to the water park. Thank you. We get in the car. Everything's in English. Mm-hmm. I can put it on 72 degrees. The speedometer. We can now use the GPS because before it was German.
Everything's in English.
I'm like, oh, it was perfect. So we drive to the water park and we have an absolute ball at the water park. Literally, there's sunrise and sunset indoors in this water park. So we leave late at night. Now, this nightclub doesn't open till like 11 o'clock or midnight, but it's open for 72 hours.
And that's it.
People go in and they party the whole weekend and then they leave like Monday morning or Sunday night.
72 hours straight partying.
People come in with backpacks. They're taking maybe not sleepy pills to stay up, if you know what I mean.
I got you.
So we go to the water slide park and we have a ball. It's better than I've imagined. It's unbelievable. You get a little bracelet. When you want something, you tap your bracelet. And it's amazing. Let's just say the locker situation's a little strange because in Europe, they're not too crazy about nudity. I thought I was in the woman's locker room because a woman across me is taking off her swimsuit. And I'm thinking I'm going to go to prison because I'm in the... But it's... Europeans have a whole different attitude about nudity.
They're a little bit more lax.
They're a lot lax. So let's just
compared
say.
to America.
But there was change in boob, and nobody seemed to care. and your locker has a little bracelet and you tap. So we leave there about, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Because they close at 11, unless you stay into the hotel. There's multiple hotels
inside the water park.
Inside that look like Mayan ruins that have waterfall. It's ridiculous. They say if you stay in a hotel, the animal nightlife gets a little crazy at night, like because they got peacocks. What's the pink things that stand on one
flamingos?
leg? And they start hipping and hawing, and because they're just, it gets a little loud in the middle of the night, they say. And there's a beach in there because I brought a football and we threw the football on the beach indoors in a building. The hot air balloon ride was broken that day or wasn't working. I was very disappointed. We leave. We go back to our hotel in our Honey Inn Express in Berlin. And we take a shower and we're starving. But it's late. It's like 11 o'clock. And I go, hey, maybe this guy's nightclub got a restaurant in it. We can get some sliders. I'm thinking I'm going to, TGI Fridays. I go, listen, it's not too far. We're in Berlin. Let's go. All right. Now, mind you, I have orange sweatpants on, a white King of Beers Budweiser. Oh, thank you for the T-shirt.
Oh, you look very sharp.
A white King of Beers Budweiser T-shirt. I've been at the water park all day. Hair's how's my salad? Is it banging?
Oh, you're looking great, Mark.
All right, as long as the salad looks good. We look like we've been at the water park all day. All we want is a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the address, we punch it in, and the guy fixed our car so we now could use the GPS instead of the phone. And let's just say Verizon Wireless 5G is a little sporadic when you're in Germany. So the GPS in the Audi was good now. We get to this building. The building looks like something Liam Neeson's going to have to come rescue you from if you go inside. And I'm like, Ed, this can't be the place. Now, mind you, this is in December. It's cold. Very cold in Europe. It's raining. I'm with Eddie. And Eddie, for whatever reason, had a Kohl's plastic bag in his jacket. From whatever reason. Well, he decided that's his umbrella. So he's got this Kohl's plastic bag on his head.
You guys must have just looked absolutely nuts. Like nuts.
We didn't know we were going to the hardest nightclub in the world to get in, let alone it was a nightclub that I never would have went to in a million years.
You've got your sweats and your Budweiser
let's
shirt
just say
on.
they're not playing Led Zeppelin and Van Halen in there.
And then he's got a plastic bag on his head.
I got my hood on. I got white on white shoes. We walk up and there's a line forever. And everybody's dressed like they're going to a goth convention or like they're the roadies for Judas Priest. Remember back in the day, Judas Priest wore all that leather with the dingle dangles? I used to love that, and then I realized that's the whole other thing. Well, it's a whole other thing there.
Mm-hmm.
And I go and I see the Audi guy, Sven, standing there like a statue. And I go, Ed. He lifts his plastic bag up. That's Sven. There's a line. As usual, I pass the line. I walk up to this pen, glowing in orange and white on white shoes.
Everyone's in black.
Everybody's in black lipstick, piercings here. And he sees us and he's like, hey, you made it. And we're like, you got food here? He's like, you'll love it inside. Velvet rope walks us inside.
Wow.
He goes, listen to me.
Still don't know where you're at.
Still don't know where I'm at. But all of a sudden, I'm hearing in the distance, which is not Monster Mark's favorite music in the world. Let me tell you. It's just that techno. And I hate techno. Because techno gives you the poundingest headache known to man. But you can hear it. Because we're like in the coat check. And he goes, listen, we're going to put a sticker on your phone. If you take any pictures in here, I can't help you. They're going to make you disappear, basically. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no pictures have ever been taken in that place.
Ever. So go to the coat check. Eddie checks his bag. I check my puffy orange jacket that looks like I came from a Puff Daddy video. People are looking at us like, because we stick out like, two sore thumbs. Somebody checked a person at the coat check, like their slave. It gets crazier after that. There's different rooms. and there's a level of shenanigans going on in there.
Yeah, we won't get into too much detail.
Biblical. Let's just say I was blushing. And to make me blush, I'm a United States Marine that's seen some things. I was blushing. We keep going to different rooms. We find a place to get some food. In Europe, they got these like hush puppy things. They're called bitter balls.
Okay.
It looks like you went to Long John Silver's. You know those hush puppies, but they got the mustard. Listen to me. We were starving. They were delicious. I think we had some other things, and I got a sugar-free Red Bull, and we walked around, and after about an hour and a half, I'm like, this is not us. We were exhausted. Imagine you go to Waterside Ball Park all day.
And you stick out like a sore thumb, and you're in white and orange. And
I have zero idea that Sven is like knowing Jesus himself. Because
in the nightclub world.
In the nightclub world, this would be like knowing the guys at Studio 54.
This happens to you all the time in your life.
I meet people randomly who are extremely famous. So we leave and we go back to the hotel, and the next morning we're at breakfast, and the lady comes over. How was the water park? Because I've been telling everybody about the water park. I said, it was wonderful. But then we went to a nightclub. Oh, what'd you go to? The Berghain. And it was like the band stopped. People set their forks down. And people all leaned. You went to the Berghain. And then we were like, yeah. And they're like, well, how did you get in? And we walked in the door. And then she's like, sir, do you realize where you were? And we went on YouTube and realized that it's like trying to get into Fort Knox or the White House. Nobody gets in this place. Nobody.
People wait out there for days, don't they?
So my neighbor, a lovely couple, is in the lifestyles.
Mm. They enjoy those types of clubs.
She told me if she got in there, she would handcuff herself to something and would never leave. Like her goal in life is to get into that nightclub, and I left.
That's her pilgrimage.
Her Mount Everest
is to get into that club, and she can't get in.
And we got in, and we left.
Just walk in there with a Budweiser shirt, some sweats,
and there's
Eddie's
black lights.
And
I'm glowing. You ever been to a nightclub when you wear the white and your shoelaces? I'm glowing like the Messiah.
And Eddie's wearing a plastic Kohl's bag on his head. Well, they made him check
his plastic Kohl's bag at the door. But we're in there, and Eddie kind of likes techno. So, tall Eddie, he's just and I'm like, this is outrageous. So,
and you ain't young men.
I'll give you another story. How I don't know who people are.
Yeah, this happens to you
all the time. So Google this, and we'll put a link up about this nightclub. It's insane. I don't recommend it. I wouldn't go back again. The music was too loud. But listen, I'm really old. And when they say if your music's too loud, you're probably too old. I'm too old. Listen to me. It wasn't my cup of tea. For instance, in my business, I was called by a person to do a party.
Sure.
I do a party. A lot of times they do the overnight slumber party package. Because the last thing you want to do is pick up a party when they're in mid-sleep. And after a certain time at night, it gets cold and equipment's a little hard, it's dark. So you just say, listen, we'll pick you up the next day. You throw a nominal $50 fee on it for an overnight service charge, and you come the next day. So we were in a gated community in Northern California, and we were picking up the equipment. And I had a nice gentleman working for me, young kid. So he's all into the new, who's the hottest. Like I watch these MTV Music Awards, don't know.
He's into pop culture. You don't have a clue.
I still listen to my 70s on Amazon. I mean, on my music. I go in the car and there's 70s, and I like 70s.
Sure.
He's an Hispanic kid, brown. He turned white. I'm looking at him. There's a gentleman behind me walking up to me. Kid turns pale. Can't speak, can't form a word or a sentence. All he's doing is just. I turn around. There's a very large gentleman behind me. Now, I'm 5'8", 250 back then, and I'll send you a photo of this gentleman. It's E40. Now, E40 is one of the most famous rappers. He's like Tupac rapper.
But you had no idea who this guy was.
I don't listen to rap.
And so you're just looking at this big guy.
I looked at my guy, and I go, He goes, oh, hey guys, I left my hoodie here last night. I just came to get my hoodie. He's lived next door to this big party. I go, who is that? Tupac rapper? Yeah. Oh. Now I go into business mode. You're a rapper, you got money, you're right up my alley. I walk over him, I introduce myself to him, and I hand him a business card. And I say, we have a deal where if I put you on my website in Celebrity Corner, your party's free. Because now a lot of people, love to see famous people.
Sure.
And it makes you look bigger than you are. So sometimes you got to lose a couple nuts. Sometimes you got to lose a couple nuts to get the bowl.
Right.
So I said, here's the deal. I'll do a free party for you. You take a photo with me. I put it on my website. You can put whatever you want for the caption. But basically you'll say, he wanted it worded a very specific way.
Oh, he's a wordsmith.
He is a wordsmith. He said, multi-platinum Grammy artist, whatever he said, E40 uses my company for all his events. And that was it. He walked away, and then I got in the car, and I start, who is this guy? My buddy started playing, I think his big song is Sparkle Me or Sprinkle Me, or I don't know. He calls me the next day. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're in your car, your phone rings, and you go, hello, and somebody starts freestyle rapping to you on the phone. E40.
But you have no idea.
I have no idea who he is. Was freestyling rapping on the phone. And I hung up on him. And my buddy goes, who was that? It was the same kid. I go, I don't know, some crazy guy, just jibber jabbering.
Just rapping, freestyling, no idea, not even saying hi.
Wasn't doing a song, he was freestyling. His own raps. Imagine Tupac called you up and freestyled and you hung up on him. Or Jay-Z, or anybody.
Right.
And he calls back. And he goes, hey, this is E40. Why'd you hang up on me? And I was like, oh, this damn iPhone. And he goes, hey, is that deal still good? And I go, yeah. He goes, all right. I'm going to turn you over. I'll have my party planner call you, blah, 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 blah. And we ended up doing a party for him. And he was been a client for a while. I had no idea. Now I like his music.
Well, yeah.
And he was fascinated, which a lot of these people that I meet, that I had no idea.
Well, these celebrities get, treated so like your worker completely goes pale. They don't know how to interact. You're just a normal person walking up to another normal person.
So
not starstruck.
Yeah. So he asked me, did you listen to my music? And I said, whatever his famous song was, it's either Sparkle Me or Sprinkle Me, but I said the wrong thing. And I said, Sprinkle Me. And he goes, it's Sparkle Me, but you really don't know who I am, do you? I says, no, but I said, can you tell me what album I should buy on Apple, and I'll download your album and I'll listen to it. And I did, and I love Bamboo, which is a great song. And he has a new one with Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Too Short, and him, and they're like big subwoofer in the back. It's just a great song.
Yeah, you were playing it earlier.
And he's in my phone. I have his cell phone number. And I never abuse that thing where I go, hey, let's have some fun and text E4. I don't do that.
Well, you just treat these people like they're normal people.
I have a very close friend in my inner circle who works for a wealth management company who would cut his pinky off for the phone numbers in this phone because I literally know everybody. And I never abuse that power. I never, hey, can I get into your concert? Because I don't go to your concert. I'm really into that stuff. So that give you an idea. That's my E40 story. I'll give you another story. I'll tell a story where you were involved.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go.
This is 1990. Help me out because I had a mullet.
2 or 3, 93.
You remember the mullet?
Oh,
that mullet was.
Oh, you held on to that
mullet way too long.
Way too long.
Way too long. But I got more compliments from that mullet.
Well, your mullet was a
work
epic.
of art.
It was
a work of art. It was business on the side and party in the back.
Yeah.
So
We'll see if we can't get a picture of that.
I think I can find something.
Okay.
I came to visit you because I'd never been to Manhattan. And I've always wanted to go to the Empire State Building.
So this probably was like 94. I was out in the tri-state area for
You were in New Jersey.
Yeah, for a job
Trent.
for about a year. Yeah, Edison, New Jersey for about a year. And you had never been. So I said, come on out.
And
I'll show you
part
the
of our
city.
thing is we were going to the best steakhouse in the world, which we went to. That's another story.
Oh,
Peter Luger's. That's another story. That's a great story. So I come visit you. And we go out for a night on the town.
Yeah, and let me preface this. So, as everyone heard earlier, he calls himself Monster Mark. His nickname is Monster. His first company was Monster Tile.
Every one of my companies starts with Monster. Okay, give you for instance, if I had a car detail place, it would be Monster Detailing. I owned a pressure wash company. It was called Monster Pressure Wash.
Right.
I owned a tile and marble company called Monster Tile and Marble. Every one of my companies starts with Monster. I've been called Monster for a very long time. That's a whole other story. I have friends that haven't called me Mark in 25 years.
Yeah, Eddie calls you Monster.
I can't tell you the last time he called me Mark. I've known him for 35 years. He calls me Monster. Mm-hmm. Everybody calls me Monster. Monster Mark. Listen to me. Call me Linda. Just call me. I don't care. I don't not care about names. So, where was I? I lost my
Well, you come down to New York, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take you to Greenwich Village.
Want to go to Manhattan?
Yeah, we're young. Let's go to Greenwich Village.
Young.
Let's go do a little bar hopping. Maybe go to a club. Let's go see what's going on.
We're in a cab. It's late at night. I look out the window. We're stopped at a stoplight, and I see the Monster Bar. Stop the cab! We're stopped. We gotta go to that bar because back then people smoked, and everybody had a book of matches, and a lot of people collected matchbooks from different places. For the love of God, Ryan, we gotta go in this bar and get a book of matches.
You're right.
Cab ride over. Pay the man. Out and Z. Go inside the bar. We walk in together.
Beautiful bar.
Spectacular. I've been to bars in my life. This one, whoever decorated it, spared no expense. It was the most beautiful, clean oak bar. And on top of the bar, you know how they usually have like the pyramid that goes up in the booze bottles?
Sure.
No. It was the giantest bouquet of fresh flowers that you could smell. It was spectacular. The bartender was a comedian. The funniest guy
funniest guy you've ever met.
And he had shoulder pads on, and I start messing with him.
Yeah, from like the 1980s.
But I was dealing with a comedian. And I go, what's up with those shoulder pads? Because I'm like, you don't need shoulder pads. That's a big shoulder. He goes, it's my Wonder Bra. I got it on sideways. He shut me right up. It was hilarious. In Ryan, we love Southern Comfort.
Well, we back in the day,
before they changed the label, because we used to do trivia questions on the Southern Comfort label. I says, 2 Southern Comforts. Okay. Now, when you go to a bar, you get a glass,
an ounce and a half,
and I always like mine over and up. Chill it, strain it, so it's cold. Sit in the glass, and we drink it. Me and you got 2 tumblers. Like he poured a lemonade for us.
We just looked at that and go, what the
is that watered down? And I'm like, oh my God, this is wonderful. Fresh flowers.
How much, sir?
Funny guy.
$4.
$4, and I got a glass I can hold with 2 hands of Southern Comfort. This place is spectacular. I go use the little boy's room. Ryan, I'll be right back. At this point, we're holding court. We're very popular for some reason. We're extremely popular. We're like the hot chick at the bowling alley popular. And I go, I had to kind of part the Red Sea to get out of the circle of our new friends.
Everyone was very, very friendly, very nice.
Now, as you know, being a man in the bathroom, sometimes there's troughs.
Yeah, the troughs.
Women don't know about it. Ladies, they treat us like animals. It's literally a trough. And as you relieve yourself, they put advertisements.
Sure, you're staring at the ads.
Above the thing. Now, because this is YouTube, I'm going to try to do this as delicate as possible. There was 2 gentlemen in the ad. It was an ad for safe sex and AIDS to use condoms.
AIDS prevention.
Let's just say there was
awareness.
2 gentlemen not wearing anything. Let's just say in a compromising position. one had duct tape on his mouth or one had duct tape on his ears. The premise of the ad
evil,
was
see no evil.
hear no evil. He didn't say he had AIDS. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear him say he had AIDS, so he must not have AIDS.
Right.
And both of them had AIDS. I think
that was an awareness campaign back in the 90s.
Awareness.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
And I go, oh my God, I'm in one of those bars, a gay bar. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I finished myself. I come back.
And
you became even more popular.
We're just having the greatest time. We were like celebrities.
You too.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, this is thinner, younger Mark and Ryan. We were quite handsome back then.
What happened?
Time's the enemy. We go. I come back. I make my way into the inner circle.
And I've got no clue.
I go, Ryan, you should go to the bathroom.
I don't got to go to the bathroom.
Ryan, listen to me. You got to go to the bathroom.
Mark, I'm having a great time.
For the love of God, go to the bathroom.
All right, I'll go to the bathroom.
You go to the bathroom. You come back. And you got that same 1,000-yard look in your eye that I have.
And then everything all of a sudden started making sense.
Everything started making sense. We're in a gay bar. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And Ryan's like, we got to get out of here.
We're having a great time.
I'm like, you're like, we got to get out of here. We're in a gay bar. I'm
like,
we're
not gay. We got to leave.
I'm like, have you lost your mind? We got fresh flowers. We're very popular. And I got the biggest drink. And what's wrong with being gay? Let's say you date a guy the same size as you. You double your wardrobe. There's some benefits to it.
And then we started getting drinks bought for us. We're like,
then
this is pretty cool. Then
they start buying us drinks. And I'm like, you guys are trying to get us drunk, huh? No. We were very popular. Needless to say, we left it with our dignity.
It was a great experience. Probably some of the best.
I would go back to that bar
Some of the best people, the most fun. And we walked in there. And they all I wanted was a book of matches, which I got. That's still on my desk to this day. And we'll put a picture of it. They had our number the second we walked in there. What the heck? They just knew that we were two straight guys.
We were as popular as the old ladies at Costco handing out food.
We were more popular.
We were very popular. And we were like, they're so nice in this bar. And then I went and peed. Oh my God. They're trying. Oh my God. Ryan, go pee.
That's such a great story.
That is just some of the little things. Let me see. I wrote some other stuff down here. All right. How about we talk about the time Tiger Woods had a little run-in with you?
This was the Pro-Am.
Pebble
AT&T
Beach.
Pro-Am, 1991 maybe? Probably. And
Tiger Woods wasn't Tiger Woods yet. He just had probably won the amateur, and he might have been in the golf world.
Well, he was the pro in this. I think it was his first year out.
And Kevin Costner
was his amateur. And so, of course, we followed him because I grew up in San Jose. He went to Stanford. We're playing. We were golfers, and we're following this phenom, right? Oh, we're gonna go see this guy Tiger.
There's Jack Lemmon. There's Maury.
But we wanted to see Tiger.
We wanted to see, and Ryan finds him.
So we find him. Ryan
wants an autograph.
Well, and this is before he had. I wanted a picture. No security, nothing. No. So we're following him along, and Kevin was cool. Remember he hit the ball right to us, and he kept talking to us. Hey, how's Tiger doing? I think he's going for it out there.
Yeah, he was very polite.
He was so cool. So we head around to the 10th hole. So 9th hole, they go to the turn.
He's got to pee.
And Tiger breaks out of the ropes, right? I'm like, oh, this is my chance to go talk to him, get a picture. And so I go ahead and I lose him in the crowd, and I'm walking through, and all of a sudden, bam! I get checked on my right shoulder. And I look at the guy, and it's Tiger Woods.
Because he was heading to the bathroom.
He's heading to the bathroom.
You were in his way.
And he looks at me, and he's sorry. You kind of give me a nod, sorry. But he's moving fast because he's got to go to the bathroom and then get back to the 10th hole. Well, I thought to myself, this is my one brush with
He's got to
greatness.
come out this door.
I'm
sitting over there talking to Maury Povich. Me and Maury Povich are having a conversation.
Remember, he's got no security. I just go right into the public bathroom right there. Seemed I had to relieve myself too. So it was my brush with greatness right there, me and Tiger Woods.
And I'm clueless. I'm out there talking to Maury Povich and the guy from Tool Time. Not Tim.
I forget his name.
Al.
Al.
I was chatting with Al, too.
Yeah, that was his character name. That was great. But, you know, the funniest story that happened at that Pro-Am was with Joe Pesci. You got to tell the Joe Pesci story.
Right, so,
and as everyone can tell, Mark's got a loud, kind of unique voice.
I get a squeaky voice sometimes. My wife says I get really high pitched sometimes. This was one of those occasions. There's Joe Pesci. And
this at this time, he's at the height of his career.
I got a photo, which I only wanted was a photo of Joe Pesci. And he was signing autographs. He had a big cigar.
I remember.
And I remember he bumped into a girl with Ash, and he's, I'm sorry, sweetheart. And I went in the most respectful way you can. Excuse me, Joe Pesci. Mr. Pesci, can I get a photo of you? And he pulled a cigar out of his mouth. He looked me dead in the eye, and he goes, are you doing me? And I go, no, Mr. Pesci, I'm not doing. Sounds like you're doing me.
He thought you were doing an imitation
Mr. Pesci,
of
a lot of people say I sound like you. You don't sound like me. Well, you said I'm doing you. I said, you sure you're not doing me? Sir, I have lots of respect for you. I love your movies. You've been very
he was making fun of him.
he thought I was making fun of him. Are you doing me?
And then he goes, so you always talk like that.
I said, when I get excited, I get a high pitch. My wife said I shouldn't do that. And I go, and then here's the photo.
Yeah, we'll put that photo up.
And me and Joe Pesci. So since we're on golf,
sure.
One of my favorite stories, which we can tell now since you're on your...
I think I know what this one's going to be.
The first wife is now out of the question.
That was my practice wife.
That was your practice wife. That won't get you in trouble. So long story short, me and Ryan met on a vacation. We met at an airport.
On my honeymoon, we're going to Jamaica for my honeymoon. And
Dunn's River Falls. And so I tell my practice wife, hey, I'm going to go see if there's a bar around and go grab a drink because we had a few hours to burn. So I just walk in. I see this guy. Don't know why. Just seemed like a guy I could walk up to. I said, excuse me. I said, do you know where the bar is? That was the end of it. Yeah, come with me. I mean, I'm like, who is this? I mean, they just, okay, who is this guy? It's around the corner. I had time to kill too. We didn't know we were getting on the same flight.
No clue. And so we ended up having
had no clue.
Yeah, had a couple beers and got to talk and made fast friends of it.
Next thing you know, we're at the same resort.
We're on the same plane, on the same resort.
In the same hotel, the same everything.
Everything. And
so we hung out together.
Sure.
Finds out Ryan golfs, I golf. He'd been married about 36 hours, 40 hours at this point. Part of his wedding promise was he would never smoke a left-handed cigarette ever again.
Which it was an easy promise to me because it never worked with me.
Me neither. I'm not a big fan. Mm-hmm. We decide we're going to go golfing for the day.
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive, right?
So, but you could take little tours.
Right. And they're part of the all-inclusive was, hey, you can go golf
at this golf course.
However, the caveat, you have to pay for a caddy.
And I'm like, cool, I hate carrying my clubs anyway.
Yeah, we got to walk this.
So the guy at the hotel puts us in the shuttle van, takes us to the top of this mountain.
Beautiful course.
Beautiful course. Mind you, this is Jamaica. Sticky, humid. Ugh. So we get our clubs. We get two Jamaican caddies.
Yep.
Who are the Jamaican version of Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, to say
the
least.
Dark, handsome gentleman.
Nice as can be.
Nice as can be. And we get off the first tee. We start golfing. We get to the second tee. And I had a very small Roach left-handed cigarette that I was quite proud of from the night before that I was going to finish on the second hole. And I said, it's Jamaica, who's going to care? I pull it out, and my caddy goes, what does that man? I says, this is my small left-handed cigarette. Throw it away, man. What do you mean throw it away?
But you were excited about this all day.
Smacks it out of my hand. That's no good, man. And I'm like, oh, you can't do this here.
Yeah, we're thinking,
I'll be right back. Do you want anything? And I go, yeah, give me a Coke. It was hot. He comes back. Do you remember the part in Cheech and Chong where they rolled that thing? Mm-hmm. This thing was a cigar.
It was a cigar.
It was gigantic.
It was a cigar, basically.
He goes, here you go, man. That'll be
a left-handed cigar.
$5. whatever it was. And I was like, and for the Coke 2 by whatever it was. And she goes, but we wait till we get a couple holes out. So the man, don't want the man seeing us. I'm like, who's the man? We get a couple holes out, and me and Ryan partake in this left-handed cigar.
Check out this cigar, yeah.
Let's put it this way. After the 4th hole, we became the caddies. We were so relaxed, we couldn't golf.
It's
So now I got a caddy who's got my clubs, who's golfing.
That's right.
Who's very good.
Very good.
So me and Ryan are betting on our caddies who's better. We're having a ball.
And we're carrying the clubs.
We're carrying the clubs, and they're golfing because we are higher than Jesus inspecting satellites on the space shuttle. We are, and it's humid. You know when you get the weed sweats, it's the worst. It's hot. And those Cokes, the worst thing you could probably drink, that sugar Coke. But that story, you probably made
what did we play?
40 hours of your wedding vow not to do that, and you did it. And then we went back to the hotel, and I think we had a rest of vacation. Come to find out, Ryan lives one city over from me.
We ended up living like 10 minutes away.
Maybe 12 minutes away.
10 minutes away. We've been.
I lived in Campbell, yeah.
Good friends ever
since. And that's the story of the golfing.
We played. I mean, we were so excited to play a round of golf in Jamaica.
We made it to the 4th hole.
Did we make it even that far?
Well, remember, the guy was like, with the mind.
That's right. We had to move a couple holes.
Holes out. And remember, we had problems because they were putting a new irrigation system. Our balls kept going in the trench. These guys were really good.
Well, we ended up caddying for them, and we paid for them.
And we bought them lunch. But I remember him, what is that, man? And I was like, what are you talking about? Put it, throw it away, man.
Done.
He's like, that's not a joint, man. This is like, you remember like in Crocodile Dundee, that's not a knife, this is a knife.
Exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And it was just, and so that's some stories.
Let's finish this up with one more. Mark being dumb as a bag of rocks, not knowing pop culture, not knowing famous people on an airline flight.
Oh, the US Airlines.
This is, and you got it, just how it all ended.
Okay.
And we'll finish with
My
this.
children were very young. I live in California. My family's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So there's grandparents back there that need to see my 2 children, a boy and girl, 17 months apart. And I normally stay in California, and my wife will take the kids back to see the grandparents. But it's tough with 2 young kids. I said, listen, I'll go back and I'll help you, and then I'll fly back by myself, and then you come back, a week later because I had to get back to work. So as we're going, we fly to Pittsburgh, which is US Airways hub, and we're flying into Pittsburgh. On the plane from California to San Francisco there, the stewardess opens up the thing, and a bag falls on my head, cracks me right in the head. And I had a headache for the whole flight.
And you didn't like flying at the time.
And who likes flying?
I love flying.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say I didn't complain because usually everything works out for me. And it hit me in the head. It was an accident. No big deal. I'm too worried about my kids jumping around like monkeys in the plane.
Right.
I'm trying to Benadryl them up so they take a nap. So I come back a week early. I go to the airport. I'm at the US Airways gate. I'm at the gate, and I sit down in a chair like everybody else, and I'm sitting next to a businessman. He opens up his briefcase, and he takes out an aspirin, and he takes an aspirin. And I go, oh, can I have one of those? He goes, oh, you got a headache? I said, no, but the way my luck's going, another bag's going to fall on my head. He goes, what are you talking about? And I told him the story, and he's like, you didn't complain? I go, nah, I'm pretty lucky. Everything usually works out. There's a reason for everything, and it usually works out for me. He goes, let me see your ticket. Okay. And he gets up and he walks away. I'm like, what? This guy just took my ticket. And I'm like, he's old. I could definitely run after him. I could totally tackle this guy. I'm good. He's up there, and he's hemming and hawing. He's doing this and that. He comes and sits down. Hands my ticket back. It's a different ticket. Different seat. He goes, you're going to be riding with me in first class. Let me introduce myself. He was the new CEO, whatever the new CEO of US Airways, he just became it.
Wow.
And he was leaving from Pittsburgh, the hub, to go all to the different markets and meet all the people and introduce himself. I'm the new guy. I'm going to turn the company around. The yada, yada, yada. So now think about this. You're riding in first class, cross country for 6 hours with the new CEO of US Airways. What kind of stewardesses do you think they had?
The best. Only the best.
They had the sexy redhead. They had the blonde. They had it. They were spectacularly beautiful.
And the best food and the best drinks.
The best food. So I never rode first class. I didn't understand that you get 2 drinks before you take off. Well, let's just say the CEO was very fond of Johnny Walker and Coke. And I didn't know if they cost anything. I was young. I was starting out. I didn't know what this cost. And I was like, well, I did what everybody does. I'll have what he's having.
Sure.
So we BS all the way across the country, and they bring you. That's how to this day, I still eat those almond smokehouse almonds. They toast them on the plane and bring them to you in a little bowl.
And they're warm.
Unbelievable. I was like, next thing you know, I got ice cream. I had silverware. My salt and pepper shaker was crystal. And I'm like, once they shut that curtain, it's like the pole comes down and the disco light, it's on. I'm not a very big drinker.
And you probably weighed, what, about $1.80?
I was very thin back there and young. Let's just say I had several Johnny Walkers and Coke. We land, I'm like, hey, man, thank you. Can I get some more of them nuts to go? I was like, can I see the container? Yeah. Blue Diamond Smokehouse Almond. Perfect. I'm going to Safeway as soon as I land to get some of them. They were amazing. We get off the plane because I'm seat 1A. There's a golf cart picks him up. I shake his hand and he's gone. My buddy, my neighbor, was picking me up at the curb.
Very nice of them.
Very nice of him. I get in the car. He's right there. We get about halfway home. It was about a 40-minute drive from San Francisco to Campbell. Halfway through, he looks over and says, boy, you travel light. And I went, oh my God, my jacket, my suitcase. I was so hammered, I left everything on the plane. My big, thick leather jacket, my suitcase, never went to the turnstile. Just got off the plane, went to the curb, got in the guy's car. Left. How hammered you got to be? I'm like, oh my God, we got to turn around, but we're almost home.
Sure.
And I think this was before cell phones, or they were very expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
I get home and I call the airport and I go, listen to me. I was sitting next to the CEO. Within 2 hours, a cab came to my house with my suitcase and my jacket. Because I said, I'm next to the new CEO. And I guess, they didn't know if I was important or not, but I got my stuff back. That's once again, sitting next to somebody out of the blue, starting a conversation, and they embrace me for whatever reason and bring me into their world.
It's amazing.
And he was once again going, you don't read the papers
you don't
about
know
me?
Who I am.
This has been on CNN.
Well, this is why
I'm like, I don't want
relate to you, because you just treat them like normal people.
He liked it because I didn't ask him about his business, because I didn't know his business. I was just talking about normal things.
Well, we'll finish with this airport story, because you got to get to the airport.
I have to get to the airport.
And this will be a tease. We'll see what the audience likes.
There's many more stories.
Oh, they have no clue. I've known you for 35 years. The stories are endless, and those were benign.
I wish I could tell my.
We'll go down the rabbit hole.
My kidney stone story would get you banned from YouTube, and it is the most hilarious story.
We'll figure out a way to get the story out there.
And that is by far, if you need to start a Patreon thing where you got to pay to hear the story, because it's spectacularly funny.
We may have to do that for half your stories. Well, Mark, let's get you to the airport.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Real People, Real Life. Our passion is to have real conversations with real people who've made it. Real people who've made it, who did it on their own terms. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, catch us on Twitter or X at RPRL Podcast and on YouTube at Real People, Real Life Podcast.